Hi, I'm Sheila L. Haidt, world-class astrologer, tarot master, spellcaster, medium, and all-around magical being. And I'm here today to talk to you about this week's astrology. So this week, there's a lot going on. There are some changes happening, and as we hopefully, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, head for spring, there's warm weather, not too hot, not too cold, headed our way. So we'll start with Monday. On Monday, the planet Venus, the planet of relationships, the planet of balance, the planet of women, the planet of healing and money and value, especially self-value, enters its own sign, Taurus. Venus is a planet that rules two signs, Taurus and Libra. So on Monday, Venus will be entering the sign Taurus. And when a planet is in its own sign, it really gets to express itself. A planet in its own sign demands that the sign, the attributes of the sign, and the planets come together to really speak about what they're together for. In this case, Taurus, value, especially self-value, also money, and Venus, value, self-value, balance, harmony. So to be in a harmonious relationship with yourself around material values and ethereal values. That's your Venus in Taurus. While Venus is in Taurus, it's a great time for you to take a look at what is of meaning to you, what has value to you, what you have signed on to, what kind of agreements have you made with yourself or others that you need to review. And with Venus in Taurus, it's a good idea to review all of those agreements to make sure they're in alignment with your current sense of value and especially self-value. So this is a time to, among other things, Venus and Taurus rule things like jewelry and presents and shopping and purses, self-care of any and all kind. So get pedicures, go shopping, get yourself a lovely little bauble, treat yourself well. So on Wednesday, we have something that happens once a month. It's called a full moon. So every 28 or so days, we have a full moon. And that's when the sun in the sky, the sign of the sun, in this case it's Aries, is opposite or opposition, as astrologers like to say, the moon, which is in Aries. So we have we have the sun in Aries, and then we have the moon in Libra. So we have Aries, Libra. And when you have the opposition of what we call the lights or the luminaries, we have the outer and the inner. We have the external and the internal. We have the literal and the ephemeral, coming together, the spiritual rather, coming together. So what that means is we have a hand on each one of those ends of the scale, and we have to bring that together. If we are not conscious and we don't work to bring our external and internal together, we have then conflict or a fight. We have separation as opposed to coming together. So especially for this particular full moon, you've got Aries, the sun in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac season, or year rather. So we have that, and its opposition, Libra. So what you're being told is what is new for you is new, that brings you new life, a new sense of yourself. You have to honor that by adding the balance of Libra. So Aries is not known for patience or not driving fast. Libra is known for balance. And what this time does, this full moon gives you an opportunity to be conscious about how you measure your pace, to be conscious about measuring your pace. And so this one especially is intense in its own way. Full moons are intense. This one is intense in another way because you've got the sun in Aries, the moon in Libra, and they are making what we call a T-square. They're making a square aspect to the planet Jupiter in Cancer. Now, a square friction. A square can be a difficult aspect, a difficult relationship. So the Jupiter, which is, it's fortunate that it is Jupiter, because Jupiter is beneficence. Jupiter is blessing. Jupiter is expansion. Sometimes Jupiter is very hard-headed too. But in this case, with Jupiter squaring both the Sun in Aries and the Moon in Libra, what we have is an excess amount of energy. And that energy needs to be balanced by being more conscious of what we're about, what we're thinking about. And the English have a saying called mind how you go. That's what you need to do, because these three signs, Aries, Libra, and Cancer, are all cardinal signs. They like to go. They like to do things. So mind how you go. A lot can be achieved, but be conscious of the energy that's around for you. Be conscious of how you use the energy. Be conscious of how you're thinking. And as it's also, it's still this full moon, we have something called moon water. So it is time to make moon water. That will be Wednesday. So start today. Get yourself a cup, a jar, whatever kind of vessel you want, and fill it with water and make sure you have a cover over it. Because if you don't have a cover over it, then you have insects, or as I like to call them, critters, swimming in your moon water. It's not a pretty sight. So cover it, put it where it will get the rays of the moon. If you don't have a window or a windowsill where you can set the container of water, it's okay to put it at the wall. That would get the rays of the moon. The rays of the moon can come in certainly through the window, but if there's no window there, they can come in through the wall. For 2 to 3 days before the full moon, at the apex, the full moon, and then 2 to 3 days release. I like to make my moon water a few days ahead, let it collect all of the energy as we grow towards that full moon, and then I like to leave it for 2 or 3 days while the moon is releasing as it moves on. After that, use your moon water to drink, water your plants, or give water to your pets. Use it in ways that make your life more valuable, that give your life more value and give you more energy. And especially this particular full moon, lots more energy. Excuse me. Lots more full moon energy and lots more energy telling you can go. Remember, you've got 3 cardinal signs, 3 get up and go, get it done signs. You've got Aries, you've got Libra, you've got Cancer. So if you use this energy well, use this energy correctly, you're going to have endless amounts of energy to get you where you want to go. The moon water you make during this time is going to help that a lot. Then the next aspect or set of aspects we're looking at will be from Friday through Sunday. And Mercury trine Jupiter and Venus square Pluto. Mercury rules thought. It rules how we gather and process information. It rules communication. And Jupiter rules expansion, luck, and blessings. So a trine, like a triangle, is a harmonious, beneficial aspect. So Mercury, our thought processes, are in a harmonious, beneficial aspect to expansion and to luck and blessings. And that means this is a great time if you've got ideas for something, you've got dreams you want to make come true. This is a great time to bring those to reality, to fruition, because Jupiter is bringing luck to your plans, to your thoughts. You do need to include action. Just sitting and thinking about it isn't going to make anything happen. But if you take the appropriate action, all kinds of help will show up. Help will benefit you. Circumstances will work your way. People will show up with information you need. Remember, Mercury's involved. People will show up with helping hands. Mercury also rules hands and arms. So you'll be able to get a lot more done if you start working on it this coming Friday through Sunday. And it doesn't mean that it ends as soon as the period is over. It continues as you continue. Also, Venus, the planet Venus, is square Pluto. Now, we spoke about Venus at the beginning of this recording. Venus rules women, rules balance, rules harmony, rules gifts, rules healing, rules money. Venus rules us being able to communicate with each other well and get along. The get along part is very important. So Venus is making a square, an abrasive aspect to Pluto, which rules control, it rules transformation, it rules the senses, the deep, passionate senses. What we have to do, we have Venus, which wants to share the power and whatever else, what other the feelings are, and Pluto, which wants to hold on to the power and whatever feelings it has. So you're going to have to be very careful and be mindful. Mindful is the word here. How are you operating? How are you taking energy and information in? How are you relating to people? How are you relating to yourself? Because it's Venus square Pluto is not only you and others, it's you and you. So this is a great time to begin making yourself aware of what operates you, what program is running. That Venus square Pluto, what program is running your life? If you're conscious of it, then that program can't ruin your life. So the energy, the most prevailing energy is demonstrative passion, meaning you could fly off the handle, or you could decide, oh my God, I'm in love with that thing or that person. This is not a good time for that kind of attitude or action. If you feel strong feelings for something or someone, breathe deeply and ask yourself what the underlying issue really is. You will then have control of that energy that you were initially going to just throw out to the universe. I feel passionate about this. You will now have control over that energy and be able to use that energy to make your dreams come true. There's a lot of opportunity for your dreams coming to fruition this week because it literally starts with Venus, which is not the planet of dreams, but it is the planet of your value, self-value, and of getting what you want. And it ends with Venus getting what you want. So I would suggest that you understand that this whole week is very Venusian. So you may feel very sensitive about everything. And if you feel sensitive about everything, then treat yourself well. Massages, self-care. Venus is really great with self-care. And maybe a little bauble or two to satisfy that part of your soul. And as always, chocolate and ice cream. So on that note, I say good night for now. And until next week, bye.